Hey there guys, it's me Malorian and it's time for another Warcaster review, and this one's going to be an interesting one because I'm going to be now answering basically the request of two of you. Both Matthew and Philip asked for this, and so I'm going to be doing a Warcaster review on Sturgis2. So straight up, I'll tell you, this is a caster I have never played before. I've never even played Crix before. So we're going to kind of jump into this. But luckily, I think that I'm on the safe side where if I just say, like, he sucked and stopped the show, everyone would be in agreement with me and they'd be like, yeah, you did a great job, Malorian. So at least I have that going for me, but who knows, I'm sure going to drop the ball awful. Now with this, what we're going to basically going to do is we're going to go into this, we're going to say what the character is, and then based on my expertise in this, I'm going to give some thoughts of how this could actually give some benefit to some Crix players. So let's give this a try. So getting into it, Sturgis the Corrupted, Sturgis2, is a Crix Warcaster, 6 focus, 18 boxes, speed 6, strength 6, mat 7, rat 5, defense 15, armor 16, command 8, and he's also undead, so, you know, sometimes that helps out. Has a hand cannon, but more importantly has the same dual blades that Sturgis1 has. There is 2 different sides, even though it's a 1 blade. One's going to be a range 2 POW 13. The other side's going to be a range 2 part POW 13 as well. So, you know, that's all right, but they got different special rules. So, getting into it, the one left blade has Soul Thief. So what this does is that this model can gain soul tokens when this model destroys a living enemy model with an attack with this weapon. This model gains the destroyed model's soul token. When this model replenishes its focus during its next control phase, it actually gets an extra focus point for every soul it had. So that's actually kind of interesting. I don't know how often this comes up, but hey, you know, compared to the other Sturgis, where some of those things can be very situational too, not the worst. You'll be setting yourself up for some extra focus. The other one is Death Strike, so on the right side of the blade. So this one says, if this attack destroys a living or undead model, after resolving the attack, choose a model within 4 inches of this model. The chosen model suffers a damage roll with a POW equal to the strength of the model destroyed. So this one's interesting. It's basically the replacement for the Electra Leap that other one has, the other Sturgis has, except instead of just automatically hitting the closest one to the POW 10, now you pick which one you want within 4, and it's going to be based off the strength of whatever that model was. So, you know, a little bit of good because you get to pick what gets hit, a little bit of bad because, you know, if its strength is less than 10, it's going to be doing less damage than before. So take it or leave it. It still has reversal, so if it's ever missed with a charge or power attack, the attacker is knocked down. Always funny whenever that happens. Has Relentless Charge, which is great. While advancing as part of a charge, it gains Pathfinder. That's always something on these combat casters. They always need that thing, so that's nice to have this here. But the chain attack is very interesting. So this one here is Chain Attack Death Shroud. So if the model hits the same target with both of its initial melee attacks, after resolving the attacks, this model gains Dark Shroud for 1 turn. And what that does, that while in the melee range of this model, enemy models suffer -2 armor. So compared to the other Sturgis where it's like punch, like teleport 3 inches, having it debuff the armor is kind of interesting. And I actually like that rule a lot better, you know. It can, of course, be a thing where if something else already has Dark Shroud, they're not going to pile up on each other. You're going to have to just really use one effect, but still having this in there is a nice debuff to have. There's also Snap Strike, which is really just says that whenever you buy an attack, you get both attacks. So, I mean, right there, normally you're going to be having your 2 attacks. You can buy 6 more, which is really 12 more. So you can get 14 attacks. So there's no Squire for getting even more attacks like you can with the Signar version, but you could, through souls, get more focus. So this could actually get pretty crazy and intense with how many attacks you could be making. So, you know, there's that. All right, so getting into the spells, there's Blood Rain. Now, Blood Rain is a cost 3, range 8, AoE 3, POW 12, and it causes corrosion damage and models hit have a continuous corrosion effect, this is going to be a bad nuke. This is going to be one where if you're like super mega desperate, maybe you use it, but this is not going to be normally happening. It also has convection, talking about things like that, where it's a cost 2, range 10, POW 12. When it destroys a living enemy model, you can give 1 focus point to a warjack in its battle group within its control range. The odd time I've used this with Sturgis2, and so maybe the odd time you're going to be using it here. I bet you're going to be using that a lot more than, Blood Rain, but, it's not something where, like, this is the gold on the card. Also has occultation. Nice one to have there. So range 2, POW 6, and upkeep. Target friendly faction model or unit gains stealth. So that's always a nice one to have. Also has parasite. So it has the cost 3, range 8, upkeep. Target friendly model unit suffers -3 armor, and the spellcaster gains +1 armor. Now this is really interesting because this is now 2 debuffs on the same caster. One of the things that people say when I was listening to Crix people talk about him is it's like, well, compared to other parasite casters, why would you ever use him? And it is very interesting though that you have a double debuff on the same card. So all of a sudden, like, you could charge in there, go pa, chain attack, make you so you're -2 armor, put on parasite on you, and then get the hell out of there. And by get the hell out of there, I mean the last spell, which is teleport, which is a cost 2 self, and you just place the warcaster anywhere completely within 6 inches of its current location, and then its activation ends. So same thing that Sturgis2 has. It's supposed to be like charge in and get out of there. And in this case here, I can definitely see it a lot more being a lot more the case where, when it came to the other Sturgis, it was something like, okay, maybe go in there, try and kill a couple of things, and maybe get some electro leaps and then get out of there. But in this one here, you can even be really using it against something with a very high armor and be like, okay, pow, -5 armor after I've done everything, and now get out of here. Now, that does assume some things. That assumes you're going to hit both of your Mat 7 attacks, which if you're going against a heavy, you probably are, but that also means then that you're casting 3 for Parasite, and you might need a boost, maybe not. You might be trying to risk that one with Focus 6, and then 2 more to teleport away. So this whole move that we're talking about right now, that's a 5 focus play, really, to do these things, unless you want to get in there and then just stay there. So that is something to definitely keep in mind, even though there is a high potential there for how much of debuffing you can be doing. Now, he has exactly the same feat as Sturgis2, Dead on Arrival, and the way that this actually reads is that enemy non-warcaster, non-warlock models, so does work on Infernal Master still, in Sturgis' control range are pushed 3 inches directly towards Sturgis in the order you choose. Then enemy models within 3 inches of Sturgis suffer a POW 12 magical damage roll. These damage rolls are simultaneous for each model destroyed, and by Dead on Arrival, you can allocate 1 focus to each of your warjacks. Sorry, 2 at warjack, not each of them. That'd be awesome. 2 in its battle group. So this is an interesting thing. Again, I think I can't get away from the fact that there are some S-tier casters in Crix, and so looking at Sturgis just compared to those other S-tier would be really tough to do. But at the same time, depending on what you're seeing, there is some actual substance to what's happening here. And what I mean by substance is that even though there are other casters that might have Parasite, it could be like, well, I like that Parasite caster, I like this one, there's not a lot of other Crix warcasters that really have that threat advantage that you have here, because really the enemy being pulled toward you 3 inches is a threat extender, really, in theory, for your own models. So if instead it would have read, say, like Shay's feat, where all your friendly faction models get to move over 3 inches, you might be like, wow, that actually is really something that's really good. And you just have to think of that in reverse. Now, of course, there's all the negative things of anything that you can't do that to, like colossals, or if there's terrain in the way or whatever else, that is a problem. But at the same time, that threat extension is a very big deal. We're also living in a world that has very, very high defense skews, and something that can go in there and say like, yeah, everything within 9 inches of me is just dead. Like really, if you have a bunch of rocket men coming after you, Sturgis goes in there, pops feet, moves the 3 inches, and then everything within the 6 inches, within the 3 inches. So everything within 6 inches of him will be doing this. Just boom, POW 12, all those rocket men dead. So having that answer in your hand is very nice, especially when you can be planning to be doing that and allocating focus from killing those things. So, deleting one high defense unit, not so bad of a thing to have. Not Scar 1 good, but it's not bad of a thing to have. And when you're looking in the rest there, where really at the end of the day, he is a big debuff caster with those 2 different debuffs he can do, even though one of them has to be within combat range. And the idea that this caster here can just destroy things if he can be hitting with everything, right? With all those attacks that you can be doing, like I said, normally without any soul shenanigans or anything like that, getting 14 attacks, like, you don't see that in a lot of places. That is a very unique ability to be able to do. So like I said, if anything else you're having can set up that knockdown so that like Mat 7 is okay, but we're dealing with warcasters with like defense 14 to 16. You just can't depend on that. But if something's knocked down and you're just slice, and even after that, the first 2 slices, now instead of POW 13s, these are all POW 15s. If you want to do like, some of your focus for something else or have some other debuffs, like that's a lot of attacks to be thinking of. So I don't want to lie to anyone, when it comes to picking your caster, odds are there's going to be other ones that you want to go with, but at the same time, Sturgis2 does have some very interesting things, and depending on what meta you're in, could actually be something that works out for you. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. If you want to be putting any comments on this, please put it down below, and otherwise, we'll catch you later. Bye.